45 seconds.
CLCDR, LC-17B, launch enable flight.
Flight.
ATC-3, main power disable, on.
On. 35 seconds.
Hydraulics go.
30 seconds.
T-minus 30 seconds.
22 seconds. 20 seconds. 15 seconds.
Top and
T-minus
go.
15.
13 seconds.
Water.
Record.
Water go.
10.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition and liftoff of a Delta II rocket on a Missile Defense Agency mission to demonstrate future space technologies.
Chamber pressure levels, good chamber pressure readings on the verniers, and good symmetrical burn on the ground-lit solid motors. 22 seconds into the flight. Still looking good. Altitude now about a half a mile. 32 seconds. Vehicle now passing Mach 1. Vehicle now going transonic. Chamber pressure is beginning to decline in the 6 ground-lit motors, as expected. Seven seconds in, now passing max Q, maximum dynamic pressure in the vehicle. 55 seconds in, less than 10 seconds remain on our solid burn. Standing by for solid SEP. And we have separation. Separation on the 6 solid motors, and we have a good ignition on the 3 airlit solids. Airlit solids 4, 5, and 6 coming up in chamber pressure. 1 minute, 20 seconds into the flight. Delta vehicle now only weighs about 1/2 of what it did at launch some 80 seconds ago, losing propellant through burning at about 2,200 pounds per second. 1 minute, 35 seconds. Altitude now 16.5 nautical miles. Downrange distance 41.9 nautical miles. Velocity 3,902 miles per hour. 1 minute, 45 seconds in. Symmetrical burn on the 3 airlit motors. Coming up on 157 into the flight. About 10 seconds remaining now on the airlit motors. Standing by for burnout of the 3 airlit motors. And we have burnout. Standing by for SEP. And we have separation. Separation on the 3 airlit motors, 4, 5, and 6. 2 minutes, 20 seconds in. Chamber pressure continuing to look good on the main engine. Chamber pressure beginning also looking good on the vernier engines. Good chamber pressures right where we want them to be. Engine pitch and yaw steering now settling down as vernier engine control also settling down at this time, looking good. Coming up on 2 minutes, 40 seconds into the flight. Altitude 39.4 nautical miles. Downrange distance 122 nautical miles. Velocity 6,764 miles per hour. Two minutes, 55 seconds. Good control on the main engine now in pitch and yaw. Very smooth ride on the verniers as well. Passing 3 minutes, 5 seconds. Chamber pressure is holding very good in the main engine and in both verniers. About 1 minute, 15 seconds remaining in first stage flight. We're passing 3 minutes, 20 seconds into the flight. Altitude now passing 51 nautical miles. Downrange distance 195 nautical miles. Velocity 8,890 miles per hour. 3 minutes, 35 seconds into the flight. Less than 1 minute remains on first stage burn. 3 minutes, 45 seconds. Now passing an altitude of 58 nautical miles. Downrange distance 251 nautical miles. Velocity 10,674 miles per hour. Coming up on 4 minutes. Mark, 4 minutes into the flight. Less than a half a minute on main engine flight remaining. Less than a half a minute till MECO. Passing 4 minutes, 10 seconds. 15 seconds now remaining in first stage flight, standing by for main engine cutoff. And we have MECO, standing by for VECO. And we have VECO, standing by for 1-2 SEP. And we have 1-2 SEP. And we have ignition. Ignition on the second stage. Second stage chamber pressure beginning to rise. And we see fairing latch separation. Separation of the payload fairing. Four minutes, 57 seconds into the flight. Altitude now 79.9 nautical miles. Downrange distance 469 nautical miles. Velocity 14,011 miles per hour. Chamber pressure, good level in the second stage. Second stage pitch and yaw control of the engine is good. That second stage chamber pressure is right where we want it to be. This first burn of the second stage should last a little bit under 6 minutes. We're about 1 minute into that burn at this time. As we pass 5 minutes, 40 seconds into the flight, altitude approaching 91 nautical miles, downrange distance 614 nautical miles, velocity 14,423 miles per hour. Now passing 6 minutes into the flight. Second stage chamber pressure continuing to hold rock solid. Pitch and yaw control, very, very good, very stable. Six minutes, 22 seconds into the flight. Altitude now 98.7 nautical miles. Downrange distance 758 nautical miles. Velocity 14,864 miles per hour. Less than 4 minutes remaining on this first burn of the second stage for this evening. Six minutes, 50 seconds into the flight. Pitch and yaw control continuing to look very, very good. Very quiet ride. Passing 7 minutes. Altitude now 104 nautical miles. Downrange distance 884 nautical miles. Velocity 15,294 miles per hour. Up on 7 minutes, 35 seconds into the flight. Altitude now 107.8 nautical miles. A downrange distance of 1,020 nautical miles and velocity of 15,773 miles per hour. About 2.5 minutes remain now in this first burn of the second stage. Now 8 minutes, 10 seconds into the flight, taking another look at our second stage chamber pressure. Chamber pressure continues to look good. Very stable ride. Pitch and yaw control also good at this time. At 8 minutes, 20 seconds, our altitude is 111.7 nautical miles. Downrange distance, 1,191 nautical miles. Velocity at 16,426 miles per hour. Less than 2 minutes remain in this first burn. Looking at our event statuses, looking back to all of our events that have occurred since liftoff, all events occurred very close to the anticipated times. Mark, 9 minutes into the flight, altitude now 114.5 nautical miles, downrange distance 1,341 nautical miles, velocity 17,041 miles.